Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, 2-run shot to right.
We welcome you to Pennsauken, right off of Route 70, for a makeup game in the Olympic Conference. It's Cherry Hill West and Bishop Eustace. They're going to be in the thick of it for the next week, as Cherry Hill West is entering their first of 3 makeup conference games that they must play prior to the end of the season. The brackets have already been filled out. The matchups have already been penciled in, and maybe for some teams, lineups have already been set and preparations have been made for Tuesday's opener. But for Bishop Eustace, these two teams are playing on 2 different game plans. Cherry Hill West opens with Ocean City in the first round of South Jersey Group 3 in the 8-9 game on Tuesday. Bishop Eustace, securing a 2 seed in South Jersey non-public B, gets a bye, and at the very least doesn't play until Friday unless they have other makeup games that they must play as well. But for Cherry Hill West, they're going to be busy. We talked with Dan McMaster before the game. He said he's going to be running conservative today. However, his lineup couldn't be farther from that. He's starting his star lefty, Isaiah Pierce-Gonzalez, on the hill. Meanwhile, some of their star commitments like Grant Fournier are also going to be in the lineup as well. So we thought going into this game that Cherry Hill West would be running a more relaxed lineup, but it couldn't be further from that. And as the coaches go over the ground rules, 2 legendary coaches in Sam Tropiano with over 750 wins, the winningest head coach in South Jersey history. Meanwhile, Dan McMaster, the head coach of Cherry Hill West for the 15th season since 2010. This should be a really good matchup, even though it won't affect anything in terms of power points or standings. It will only affect team morale and preparedness for the playoffs.
And I think that if this game, it doesn't mean anything, the brackets are already set, everybody is in their place and looking forward to the playoffs, but a game like this can help boost morale and give you a little bit of momentum that you can need heading into a playoff game, and especially for Cherry Hill West, a team that's the 8 seed in a toss-up 8-9 game. That could go either way for them, and if they're able to beat a good team today like Eustace, who's the number 2 seed in the non-public B for South Jersey, they could have some momentum going into their playoff game, which will be at home against Ocean City. And on the other side of things for Eustace, even though they've got some time in between when they have to play again, they might play on Friday because they have that bye, but momentum and picking up a win against somebody like a team like Cherry Hill West that has 16 wins on the year and 7 in conference wouldn't be a bad way to get the ball rolling towards their first playoff game on Friday.
Yeah, well, they still have to play Morristown on Wednesday, which is the day of the non-public first round, which is where we're going to be covering St. John Vianney at Paul Sixth. But for Bishop Eustace, securing that first round bye means a lot. This game will be a valuable tune-up. Meanwhile, for Cherry Hill West, this is a necessary roadblock. We've got starting lineups and first pitch coming up shortly. Bishop Eustace preparing to take the field with the junior Delaware commit, Dan Pasalacqua, starting for the Crusaders this afternoon. Eustace takes the field from the third base line, and we'll be right back in just a moment with our introductions and much more here from Pennsauken at Bishop Eustace Prep. Dan Pastelacqua is the pitcher for Bishop Eustace, the junior committed to Delaware. Let's take a look at his stats for the day. This is a weird game. It's a Saturday morning. It's actually chilly today. It was warmer on February 25th. 63 degrees was the high. Today the high is going to be 59. He's got a 1.06 ERA, 47 strikeouts in 26 and a third innings. Again, committed to the Delaware Blue Hens as a junior. Let's take a gander at what Cherry Hill West has crafted up with head coach Dan McMaster, presented by Harper Driving School. It's going to be Aiden Ryder, the third baseman, batting leadoff. Another Delaware commit, Grant Fournier, takes the center field spot, batting second. Luciano McCree at first. Then you've got Josue Holloway in left field, Andrew Bechtel at short, Luis Sanchez at the DH, Jeff Casano in right, Hayden Baker behind the dish, and Eric Brown at second base. First pitch of the ball game is up and away, and we are underway. 1-0 is the count. Fastball there from Pastelacqua just missed high and out, and a baseball just came in to the field of play, I think from the JV game. There's no fence down the right field line. I think they were just getting ready to start an inning, so maybe the left fielder dropped the ball. 1-0. I call it the combo multi-ball.
Well,
like all those pinball machines.
Well, and these fields are pretty much right on top of one another. The JV field is about 25 to 50 feet to our right from where we're set up. Could see that happen throughout this game.
We could be in the splash zone for all we know. Nothing like a JV game. I'm looking at it now that you mention it over there. Cherry Hill West is a runner on first wearing a gray jersey, and the batter is wearing a bright purple jersey. That's JV baseball for you, Jake. 1-2 is crushed, right field. This one's up. This one's going to be on to Route 70 and gone. Or no, foul. Never mind.
Well, it's certainly
I got thrown off that time.
Certainly had the distance to leave the yard, but it was just foul. A call made by the first base umpire, but would have been a loud start to the game for Cherry Hill West. But now just a loud foul ball for strike number 2 in this at bat.
And my loud mouth got me in trouble. It's 1-2. You know, there's a big short porch out there and right. 310. It's 335 down the left field line. In the left center field gap, gets as deep as 300. It's 385 to the left center gap, but then it just goes straight in, mostly caused by the boundaries of Route 70. 2-2. That one is popped up third base side. A lot of foul ground to run with here. Bell going over, and he makes the catch. First out of the ball game as Ryder is retired. There's one away. This will bring up a good matchup here for the Delaware Blue Hens inner squads in the year 2026, because Fournier is a 2025 grad of West. Pastelacqua is a 2026 grad of Eustace. They play as opponents today, but they will play as teammates in about a year's time. Here's Fournier. First pitch is outside. Cherry Hill West, again, playing this game as a precursor to their playoff matchup on Tuesday versus the 9-seed Ocean City. West was the 1 seed in 2024, beating Lacey in the first round. This year, Lacey is the 13 seed playing Clearview. But Cherry Hill West has lost their last 2 games after winning 7 straight. They beat Bishop Eustace in their last matchup 10-6 on May 5th. Lost to Morristown 5-2, lost to Seneca at home 5-2, but they have 2 more conference games that they must play in the Olympic. They play Morristown on Wednesday and Cherokee on Friday. That one's away. That's going to be difficult for West. I mean, Eustace will play their first playoff game on Friday because they have a first-round bye in South Jersey Non-Public B along with Gloucester Catholic. But Cherry Hill West has to wedge their playoff matchups in between 2 more regular season games that won't count for anything because the brackets have already been decided. Here's the 2-1. Fournier might get the better of him here, although it is a straight line out to center field. It's caught by center fielder Fiola. And check that, Materace. There's 2 away in the top of the first. Here's another lefty, 3 in a row for the Lions. As Fournier flies out to center, that was preceded by an Aiden Ryder pop out to third, although he had a loud foul ball earlier in the at-bat as Luciano McCree is the batter. Passalacqua. First pitch is in the dirt. This might be a good test here for Passalacqua in the first. I mean, we talked about how Cherry Hill West was likely going to run a conservative game, but this lineup, with the exception of maybe the 8 or 9 hitters, has been nothing like that at all. It's been a very traditional lineup for Dan McMaster and the Lions today, as that one is down. I don't know if they were saying that just to throw us off or what, but
well,
either way.
In a game that means nothing, it's very easy to go out and just try and get some other guys some experience, but to try and get some momentum for a playoff game would certainly be crucial here.
West is starting Isaiah Pierce-Gonzalez, who we did see versus Shawnee back on April 1st. One of the best pitchers duels I've seen in a while. It was a battle between Tim Daugherty, a West Virginia commit, and Pierce-Gonzalez. The game ended 1-0 in favor of the Renegades. It was actually warmer on April 1st than it was today when we last covered Cherry Hill West. But it's a 3-0 count. Good fastball mix here from Passalacqua, but just not hitting the zone here. Next batter in the on-deck circle will be number 6 to left fielder Josue Holloway. 3-0, got the green light, but he'll end up tapping out to first. Doesn't run it down the line, and the inning is over. Passalacqua, after a light scare in the first at-bat, gets a couple of ground balls and a flyout to center field. Go to the bottom of the first. Eustace will take their first hacks here on their home turf. We'll be right back. Southpaw on the hill for Cherry Hill West, it is Isaiah Pierce-Gonzalez. We saw him in a pitcher's duel versus Shawnee on April 1st. He comes into this matchup with a 2.08 ERA, 18 walks allowed, but he does have Passalacqua beat in the strikeout department with 51 of those smackaroos. So let's take a look at what Bishop Eustace has to offer out of their home dugout today. Very young team coming into this game, 19-6, right atop the Olympic National Division. You've got Dante Bell, the shortstop, leading us off. Roman Fayola's in left field, J.J. McLaughlin at third, Dante Matarese in center, Max Sullivan at second base, Mason Rosenberg takes the first base position. The backstop today is Gabe Yates in the 7th spot, Franco Iannone in right field. He'll be followed by Gabe Rogers, the designated hitter, rounding us out here in Pennsauken. That lineup presented to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road. Bell shows bunt versus Pierce-Gonzalez, and he pulls back successfully, 1-0.
Well, Bell is somebody that's having a terrific junior season, 429 hitter and 70 at-bats. Definitely a guy you want leading off at the top of the order.
Well, he's somebody that we saw in the quarterfinal round versus, or sorry, the second round of the Diamond Classic. They played Rancocas Valley, And Bell had a lot of barrels in that game. He had one hit. He had a base hit back up the middle, but he always seems to find great contact with the ball, whether it gets put in play or not. He always finds a way, if you will, and that's what Sam Tropiano wants. Again, Tropiano, this is not his first rodeo. In fact, you could argue it's more than his 750th rodeo, the winningest head coach in South Jersey across stints at St. Augustine and Bishop Eustace. So there's a lot to love about what Sam Tropiano has to offer. And with him coaching first base today, I think that he's going to be in a good position with Eustace not playing until Friday. Here's the 3-1. Strike called. Looks like a sinker ball there. Eustace 19-6. They won the Ralph Shaw Classic, beating Kingsway and Audubon in the first weekend of April. Riffed off a 5-game winning streak, including a big win over St. Joe's Prep in Philly. That's a ground ball out towards second base. Picked up by Eric Brown. Throw got bobbled at first base. McCree had trouble coming up with it. And Bell will reach on an error to start the inning for Roman Fiola. Eustace has won their last 5 in a row after losing to Delsey in the Diamond quarterfinals 2-1. They knocked off Seneca, Winslow, Cherry Hill East, Seneca again, and Camden Catholic in their most recent win 10-0. So definitely with both of these teams having very recent winning streaks of large proportions, seeing those come to a head. Obviously, West lost their last 2 Olympic games to Morristown and Seneca, and that was just yesterday. So they played Seneca yesterday. They've got Eustace today, and then Ocean City on Tuesday in the first-round playoff game. Pierce Gonzalez with a pickoff move not in time.
And a smart pickoff move by Pierce Gonzalez. Dante Bell, somebody with 13 stolen bases on the season, leads Bishop Eustace on the year. Very prototypical leadoff man for the Crusaders.
Yeah, he's somebody that you're going to want to watch on the bases. I mean, he got on in kind of a non-prototypical way as there's a tapper. Gonzalez is there, throws it to second, barely beat him. Not going to have any chance at first. Fayola beats it out. That was a bit of a slow roller that allowed Fayola to get down to first and avoid the double play. I think if that was a hot shot right back to IPG, probably would have had a chance of turning a 1-6-3, and they turned it well, but they barely got the out at second, so Fayola was pretty safe there. Not really any fault of the fielders, just ball wasn't hit hard enough for them to be able to turn it.
Yeah, just slow chopper there to the pitcher. Pierce Gonzalez fields it and barely gets the out at second. They had no shot at 2.
Well, now they will have a shot at 2. Throw down to second is not in time. Throw was a little bit high from the backstop Hayden Baker. And they will have a stolen base to replace Dante Bell on the 1-6 fielder's choice, followed by a stolen base. So here's McLaughlin, an uncommitted junior for Eustace. 2-0. Cherry Hill West 16-8, 7-3 in the Olympic National, compared to Bishop Eustace at 19-6, 9-2 in their national division. The Olympic Conference basically downsized last year. They had 3 divisions: the American, the National, and I forget what the other one was called, but a couple of teams actually left. First of all, Camden fielded a team last year. They are not fielding a team this year. That one's hit out towards right center field. This is going to get down. It's going to 2-hop off the bottom of the wall in the right field short porch. Coming in to score easily is Fayola. Hopping into second base without trouble is J.J. McLaughlin. Picks up an RBI double, and Eustace takes a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first.
McLaughlin's 18th RBI of the year gets the Crusaders on the board first here today. A good swing of the bat, and he just shoots that one the opposite way, lets the pitch get deep in the zone, and takes it for a ride for a double in the right center gap.
I like that piece of hitting there. Didn't do too much with it, just barreled it up on a good pitch and then hits it the other way. I love hitters that can hit the ball the other way, especially in a field like this. The wind is blowing, it looks like it's blowing in today, so you're probably not going to see any home runs unless your name is Aiden Ryder and you move the ball about 10 feet to the left. But this is a field where even judging a home run might be difficult because of the short foul poles as well. So we'll have to see, but there's just so many variables that go into calling a baseball game and making sure you get everything right that, you know, a field like this convolutes your situation a little bit. Pitch number 14 for the left-hander Pierce Gonzalez sets up a lefty-lefty matchup with the four-hitter Matarese, the center fielder. Bishop Eustace and Cherry Hill West, the 1 and 2 teams in the division. With this being the last scheduled home game. Wow, look out. That did hit him. So, yeah, a little bit of a scare there, but he does get on, and it does put two runners on base for the Crusaders, and might be a painful one, but Matarese gets on base any way that he can.
Yeah, that pitch just ran upstairs and inside, and it sounded like it got the helmet of Matarese. Seemed a little rattled after that pitch ran up and in, but he tossed the bat back, took his walk over to first, and now 2 on here with just 1 out for Bishop Eustace.
Here's the pitch. That one is at the letters, 1-0. And that's I was hoping to see a little bit more out of a lefty-lefty matchup there. I mean, they do have another one waiting in the wings in Rosenberg, as now Max Sullivan is the batter, but swing and a miss there. Sullivan, another Division I committed as a pitcher to Penn. Same school that Luke Pokrovsky out of Shalleck and his older brother Jarrett Pokrovsky are headed to. A couple of South Jersey athletes have made their talents known there. Former Pittman product, Colin Ambrosius down there as well. Not for baseball, but for sprint football. Interviewed him on the Dan Wilkins show a couple of months ago. Good buddies with him, but Eustace warming up a couple extra players behind the third base dugout as there's a big swing and a miss by Sullivan. And it's 2-2. Sullivan, even though he is committed as a pitcher, still brings the juice to the table as a batter. .320 hitter this season. 7 extra base hits, 11 RBI, 24 for 75. But quite the interesting figure indeed. A .320 career hitter. Only had 11 at-bats each in his freshman and sophomore seasons, and a career .464 slugger, batting .364 as a freshman, 4 for 11, then 3 for 11 as a sophomore, .273. Count is full. IPG now at 20 pitches in the first inning, and again, that could convolute things here. Cherry Hill West, I think their biggest point may have been that they wanted Pierce Gonzalez to have a quick couple of innings so that you don't have to dip into the bullpen too much. But here's the 3-2. Sullivan, right field side and foul over towards our Jersey Sports Zone friend down the right field line.
And Pierce Gonzalez has thrown that fastball a couple times in this at-bat, and Sullivan just seems a little late on it. He blew the fastball by him twice. This time, Sullivan was ready and just got a piece of it to see a full count pitch again.
See what he's got. IPG versus the Penn commit, Max Sullivan. He steps off again. Remember, no step-off limit here in high school baseball in New Jersey, but IPG will have to dance around the mound a little bit more. He's at 21 pitches here in the bottom of the first. An RBI double by McLaughlin got home the first run, and now both runners go. There's a swing and a miss. Baker goes for the out at third. He is out at third. They got him there. And a strike him out, throw him out double play ends the inning. We've only seen 2 of them this year, and we've seen them in back-to-back games. West bringing the heat. They only allow 1, and the last out of the inning was the biggest one of them all. We'll be right back. It's 1-0 after 1.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Welcome to the home of the Crusaders. It's a 1-0 Bishop Eustace lead in the top of the second inning. Josue Holloway leads us off. Holloway, known in 2023 for hitting a walk-off grand slam in the playoffs, versus Toms River North. Toms River well represented in the playoffs this year. Toms River East representing in Group 4 along with the Toms River North Mariners. Toms River South takes place in South Jersey Group 3 this season. They'll be playing host to Absegami in the 5-12 game. As it's 1-1.
And the playoffs are certainly an exciting time for all the groups around here. Both these teams will be in the playoffs, and we'll have to see how they fare later in the year.
That's a liner to center field, and Holloway's got a base hit. It's West's first base knock of the day, and Holloway bangs one right back up the middle to get the party started in the second, as the batter will now be Andrew Bechtel, the shortstop.
Looked like a curveball that just hung around the plate a little too long, and Holloway was ready for it, threw his hands at it, and sent it right back where it came from, up the middle, for a base hit.
Bechtel now the batter in the top of the second inning. That's a fair ball. Slow to get out of the box there. Runner does get down to second.
So a sac bunt there. Pretty easy sac bunt. And they sent the runner in Holiday anyway. Looked like he was going to straight steal even if the bunt didn't get down. But Cherry Hill West trying to advance a runner into scoring position for now the 6-hitter in the lineup to try and do some damage, and a favorable lefty-righty matchup at the plate.
And I would say if the wind was blowing out, you could talk about a long ball possibility, but with the wind blowing in today, honestly though, even with the wind blowing in, 310 is one of the shorter distances that we see in South Jersey. A lot of times 320, 330 is the standard unless your name is Woodstown, but Luis Sanchez, the DH, will be the batter after a base hit by Holloway and a sacrifice bunt by Bechtel. We were talking about the Olympic Conference earlier, and we were talking about how everything worked out in terms of divisional alignment. One of the big things that changed was that they downsized from 3 divisions to 2, the American, the National, and the Patriot. These 2 teams were not in the same division last year. They won their respective divisions, as the strike is called, 1-1. Eustace won the National with a 9-1 division record. Cherry Hill West won the Patriot with a 6-2 record. But they consolidated everything because 3 teams that were in the National stopped fielding Olympic teams. Foul down the left field line. That one is up there. Oh, wow. He is running around with it, and he makes the catch. Dante Bell goes to the Piccadilly Circus and somehow comes down with the baseball. 2 away. That is incredible. Dante Bell, he took the long way home, and he makes the catch. Sorry about that, folks. Had some technical difficulties there. Two outs and a runner on second base as there's a strike called. What a play by Dante Bell, though, as he retires Sanchez on a pop out to third. Now the 7-hitter, Jeff Casano in right field. That one is outside.
And with the wind swirling,
didn't make it any easier.
Absolutely not. Everybody going over to try and get that one. And it was McLaughlin that made the play, I believe, over there, over at third.
Yeah.
Ran around in circles, it looked like, to make the catch, and an impressive one.
Runner goes. Oh, batter got in the way. Batter got it. Yeah, the batter got in the way, so they're going to call him out. The batter stepped out of the way. The umpire calls obstruction, and the inning is over. Dan McMaster is going to argue this because he was still in the batter's box, is what Cherry Hill West's argument is. And that will be an automatic out that will end the inning. So the runner was going for third. Casano stepped back, and because the runner was going to third, The catcher kind of got in his way, and as a result, McMaster still upset with it. Just still listening in here before we go to break.
He certainly has a.
He's got a point.
He has a fair case because I'm not sure that the hitter in Cassano actually left the box. It looked
No,
like,
I think he was still in the box.
It looked like he just backed up and he moved the top half of his body backwards to try and give the catcher a lane to throw.
If anything, he moved out of the way to attempt to give the catcher an extra lane. So I'm not sure, but before we go to break, there is a change. Number 31 is coming in to pitch for Cherry Hill West. So Gonzalez is done after 1 inning, and Brady Market is going to come in to pitch for the Lions. So an odd situation. I don't think that was the right call, but we'll go to a quick break, and we'll come back in the bottom of the second with a 1-0 Eustace lead. Looking here in the top of the second inning, taking a look we didn't get the play it down at third. However, wanted to take a look at this this play here, this little swirl up over at third. Dante Bell comes down with a good catch here. Nice pop-up by Sanchez, got decent contact on it, but then Bell going over, he goes up, and then he cuts back in, running in and then diving to make the catch. Just a wonderful play there, Dante Bell with the play. Brady Market is the new pitcher for Cherry Hill West, as Pierce Gonzalez's day is done after just 21 pitches in the first inning. He allowed 1 run and might have gotten a little bit of a bailout there from a strikeout, throwout, double play. But Market, in a very small sample size, just 3 innings, he's only thrown 50 pitches all season. That's a dribbler up the second base line. It is thrown out by Brown. Wasn't sure if the first baseman was going to go for that or if Brown was going to get it, and Brown ended up making the play, so batter's retired. However, in the 3 innings that he does have, he's got 9 strikeouts because he's got 1 appearance, and it was in a 23-0 win over Bridgeton back on May 6th. He threw 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, and 9 Ks. So this is only his 2nd appearance of the year and his first versus an Olympic opponent.
And
one's outside.
The thought has to be that they're trying to rest Pierce Gonzalez for the playoffs. You don't want him to pitch too deep into a game that is ultimately meaningless in the quest for a group championship.
It's going to be a 2-0 count here. Rosenberg, Yates, and Iannone. Rosenberg already grounded out 4-3 to start the inning. So Yates, the catcher. But what an odd game this has been. The catcher has been maybe the most prominent position today. It's been used for the strikeout, throwout, double play, and then it was the subject of that debacle in the top of the second inning. Yeah, this game could really get funky, especially in a game that won't have tons of or any playoff implications. Here's the 3-0 from Market. Gets a strike in there. He's got good velocity, too, for a guy that's only thrown 3 innings. Had 1 appearance, again, versus Bridgeton. Don't get any better than that. No runs, 9 strikeouts in 3 innings. He had a perfect 3 shutout frames. Not perfect, but he gave up 2 hits, no runs. And now versus a very strong batter in Yates, the 7-hitter, with Iannone next. He's worked the count full. Here's the 3-2. Hit out towards right field. This one is up there, going back and making the catch. is the right fielder, and there are 2 away. A 4-3 ground out, and now Iannone will bat in the 8 slot for Eustace.
Well, Market, with a good at bat there out on the mound, went down in the count, 3 balls, no strikes, battled back, fired in 2 balls that clipped the zone on the inside part of the corner to make the count full, and then a lazy fly ball out to right field to record the 2nd out of the inning. A nice job to pound the zone.
Iannone, the first pitch lined into center field, got a base hit. The 8 spot gives Market his first hiccup. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter as Iannone, the junior, knocks a base hit for Gabe Rogers, the sophomore, 273 hitter in his first varsity season, 7 RBIs, 15 for 55. Busy day on campus here for Bishop Eustace. Busy day off campus too. An East Coast, a large regatta is happening on the Cooper River just off of campus. Parking was packed off campus today, and we got here at right around 9:45, 10 a.m. That one's popped up. Baker's going to go out for it. The first baseman deflects, and McCree makes the catch to retire the side. A clean second with 1 base hit for Brady Market. We go to the top of the 3rd. We're through 2 here in Pennsauken, 1-0 Eustace.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Two innings gone. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. You can visit today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. So Casano was called out thanks to a unusual situation to end the top of the 2nd. If you don't want to rewind the tape, basically Rogers, or check that, Yates went to throw down to 3rd because the Cherry Hill West runner was going. Casano, who appeared to stay in the box but physically bent backwards to try to give the catcher a lane, was called out. I'm not sure whether the official call is for obstruction or for interference, but either way, I don't know the verbiage of it too much, but either way, Casano was called out. Now it's 8-9-1 with Baker, the catcher, leading off. He'll be followed in the 9 spot by Eric Brown, and then going back to the top of the card for Aiden Ryder, the 3rd baseman. 28 pitches for Passalacqua, the Delaware commit. Through 2 innings, he's allowed 1 hit, a single to Josue Holloway to lead off the second. He's got a 2-2 count to the catcher Baker. Here's the 2-2. Outside. Now with the count running full, makes it a little bit interesting. Passalaqua, nobody on, nobody out. Just leading off the inning, working through the motions of a really stable at-bat. As Baker, the junior, with a 3-2. Line, left field, that's gonna stay fair. Hooks down the left field line. It's gonna die in the grass. Baker pumps the brakes hard and goes back down to first. The ball has trouble getting back in. It's picked up by Sullivan at second base. It is a bullet down the left field line for West's second hit of the day, and now Eric Brown will be the batter to round out the order.
Well, nothing cheap about hit number 16 on the year for Hayden Baker. A nice swing down the line for a base hit, and he was thinking 2 right out of the box, but had to pump the brakes, and he pumped them hard over at first base, almost slipped and fell, and then the ball had some trouble getting back in, but he stays over at first for the leadoff single.
There's a bunt. They're going to throw back to first. Back pick was tricky, but it's not in time. And it's 1-0.
Cherry Hill West is not afraid to bunt in situations like this. They've done it earlier in this game. We saw it. They got a runner over to second through a sac bunt. Trying to do it here again today, and with the 9-hole hitter trying to bunt.
They do it again. Now the throw down to second is in time. Second baseman was on a perfect line, and Bell gets the out. He might have banged up his hand, though, because he kind of hit Hayden Baker at full speed. Kind of shook off his hand a little bit there, took his glove out of its socket. Baker is retired on this caught stealing. And now Brown doesn't have any constituents on the base paths here. With now 1 away and a 2-0 count is outside, 3-0. Brown, a .273 career hitter this season, 13 for 49, 11 RBIs, 12 walks, and a .286 slugging percentage, marking a .265 average. Gets the red light on 3-1. So Baker with a base hit down the left field line, retired on a caught stealing attempt. And Aiden Ryder, who had a pop-up to third and allowed at bat, will bat next. Big swing and a miss there. Both of these pitchers have been pretty familiar with a 3-0 count that has now been turned into a full count opportunity. That was pitch number 35 for number 36, and here's his number matching counterpart. That one is outside. Brown gets a free pass. It's the first walk allowed by either team today. And now Ryder will bat in the leadoff spot, the first of 3 lefties in a row versus the future Blue Hen.
And a long at bat there for the 9-hitter, and Eric Brown ends up drawing a walk on a pitch to the backstop, and he hustled out of the box, but Yates was able to collect it quickly to keep him there over at first.
Here's the first pitch. Outside, that one skips off the glove. Yates throws it from the slide, and it's not in time. Good effort. And honestly, if there's one ballpark where you can do that, it's this one because of how shallow the backstop is. Very similar to Cherokee, same way. It's not like, what's the other one I'm thinking of that has a massive backstop? Timber Creek's the same. Timber Creek is the same way as, or the opposite, where it's a massive, massive backstop behind the plate. It almost funnels in. It's a good 30 feet from the edge of the fence to home plate. So he could have taken that rebound and thrown it down to second, which he did, and he actually was a little bit close.
Haddon Heights is another field that has a very shallow backstop at their varsity field. It's very tough to try and move anywhere on pass balls on that one.
The all dirt infield doesn't help too because it'll just skip right off the dirt. The strike called to Ryder, 1-2. Haddon Heights, the 2 seed in South Jersey Group 2. That was a game that I was tempted to put in the fan vote bracket because they're playing Seneca, the team that they have played twice in the sectional championship, and now they're playing them in the first round. Seneca and Haddon Heights played in the 2023 and 2024 South Jersey Group 2 sectional finals, with Seneca winning both times, but instead of meeting in the championship, they meet in the first round, with Seneca having a big senior class, dropping down to the 15 seed after being a 1 in 2024. There's the 1-2 from Passalaqua. It's in the dirt, 2-2. Ryder, the senior third baseman here for the Lions, Has appearances in all 4 seasons, dating back to 2022, 339 hitter, 7 extra base hits, a remarkable 29 walks drawn this season, 21 hits, 19 RBI, and 5 extra base hits. Here's the 2-2. Outside. Count is full.
Well, Passalacqua keeps trying to go with that off-speed pitch outside. That time missed up and out. A couple other times in this at-bat missed outside and down in the dirt, but trying to work the left-handed hitter away in this at-bat to force a weak rollover to the left side.
3-2. Outside, ball 4. Back-to-back free passes, all of them very close for Passalacqua. Really hasn't had a bad at-bat. He just has barely missed off the zone, and now Fournier is the batter. You'll be seeing Aiden Ryder some next year. He's committed to Rowan University, committed there in November of 2024. A lot of South Jersey talent, especially in the Olympic Conference, headed there in 2026. Jake Bartletta comes to mind out of Rancocas Valley. Brett Chiesa of Cherokee, and of course Aiden Ryder of Cherry Hill West. Here's the first pitch. Fouled back by Fournier off the post of the chain link fence, and it's 0-1. Again, this is a matchup that these two will be teammates further down the line. Fournier and Passalacqua both committed to Delaware, but a year apart. Fournier a senior for Cherry Hill West. Meanwhile, Passalacqua in his junior year at Eustace. Fournier grounds one to short. Throw across the diamond is, oh, it's in time. That is interesting, and they roll a double play, 6-4-3, and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the third. Double play by Fournier makes it a 1-0 game. Bottom of the third for Bishop Eustace. They lead at 1-0. Looked like this game may have been more of a hitter's contest than we thought. Isaiah Pierce-Gonzalez threw 1 inning, had 21 pitches, gave up a couple of hits, gave up a run, but nothing more. And Cherry Hill West has found back-to-back innings end in unfortunate ways. Second inning ended with Jeff Casano being called out for obstruction, and then the third inning ended on a 6-4-3 double play off the bat of Fournier that looked a little bit, what's the right word without getting in trouble, a little bit iffy at first base.
Well, it was certainly a bang-bang play over at first, and with the field umpire in the middle of the field, a tough call.
Yeah, he wasn't lined up down first base, and this is where having 2 umpires can kind of mess with your head a little bit instead of having 3, because I'm used to covering JUCO baseball where everybody's got 3 umpires and all of that. I've kind of been accustomed to that now that my last 2 weekends have been spent covering the JUCO championships at Rutgers Camden. But, you know, it really makes me grateful for what these college kids have, because we go to these games and sometimes you see all of the resources or lack thereof, that teams have. Strikes called 2-2. Tropiano not happy with the call at first, saying that you got to be more consistent than that. Tropiano set up down the first base line as the first base coach in today's contest, as he always is. 2-2 is high up above the head of Bell. It is 1-2-3. Top of the card off of Market, as Market will look to market himself as a valuable pitcher for Cherry Hill West going forward. As we said, only had 3 innings going into this matchup, and a blowout win over Bridgeton. That one's foul, over towards the first base line. Again, Bell, Fiola, and McLaughlin. Fiola being a left-hander, it'll be a little bit different now that he's facing a right-hander in Market as opposed to the southpaw Pierce Gonzalez, who only threw 1 inning. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Got the foul tip. So he did make contact, but its destination was right in the glove of Hayden Baker. That's hard to do for a high school catcher.
Yeah,
And definitely
is. Definitely is there for Baker behind the plate. You have to be able to squeeze it on the ricochet, and he does just that, able to catch the foul ball and help Market out on the mound for the strikeout.
No, never mind. Sorry, outside 1-0 to Fiola. He reached on a 1-6 fielder's choice, came around to score on McLaughlin's double in the bottom of the first inning, the only offensive output from either side today. Here's the 1-0, swing and a miss there, 1-1. But yeah, I mean, this has been interesting. I think that this game is just going to get a little bit funkier as we go along. There is a left-hander warming up in the Cherry Hill West bullpen. That is number 16, and we do not have a number 16 on our roster, but it is a left-hander. We'll have to take a gander at that at some point. Three and one now.
That was a tough pitch right there. Market trying to work outside to the left-hander in Fiola.
Now it's fouled back, and the count is full, 3-2.
Well, there you saw he started changing his location. He went outside with the pitch before, and he's gone outside throughout this at-bat, but he's not getting the call. Came inside on a 3-1 challenge fastball down around the knees, and Fiola just a little early.
And the 3-2, that one's high. So after Pasalacqua gave up 2 walks in his half of the inning, now Market delivers 1, and Fiola reaches for the second time today. Here's J.J. McLaughlin. Cherry Hill West fans, you may want to vote in the fan vote if you want Ocean City and Cherry Hill West covered on Tuesday, May 27th. We have Bracket A and Bracket B running of the DWB fan vote. Only one game of those 8 will be selected. The top 2 from each bracket, combined with votes from X and Instagram, will be taken into a Final Four championship to be held on Sunday, and by the end of Sunday, we'll know who will be covering or where we'll be on Tuesday. Throw back to first is not in time, and it went down the line. It barely stayed in play enough. If it went just a little bit further past that white line, it would have been a 2-base error, but it was picked up in the nick of time down at first by McCree, and it only stands as a 1-base error. As now McLaughlin, just like he did in the first, deals with a runner in scoring position. But either way, we have 2 votes running right now. We'll tell you right now in Bracket A, which is where Ocean City and Cherry Hill West are, they are in second place by 1 vote. They are leading Gloucester and Overbrook 112 to 111. Cherry Hill West, if you contribute, you could tip the scales on that one. That one's inside, 1-1. The leader of Bracket A is Washington Township at Cherokee with 171. As we said, Cherry Hill West is 112, Gloucester Overbrook is 111, and GCIT Rancocas Valley is 84. In Bracket B, Toms River North and Kingsway is leading with 157 votes. Penn Tech and Sterling is in second, but at the request of Sterling, we have removed them from consideration. Therefore, the next in line will be Middle Township and Collingswood with 89 votes, or 20% of the vote. So yeah, if you want Cherry Hill West to be covered on Tuesday for the playoff game, go to our Instagram at DW Broadcasting and make sure you put in your vote. Top 2 from each bracket advance to the Final Four on Sunday. That one is going to get the runner down to third.
Well, and it looked like the throw there from the catcher behind the plate in Baker just pulled the third baseman off the bag, so he wasn't able to make the tag on the runner, and now just 90 feet away.
That one is also going to be ball 4 here, so Market running into a little bit of trouble here. He's got back-to-back walks, and now the batter will be Dante Matarese, the center fielder. I mean, this is a big test for Market. And now McMaster's going to come out. He's going to talk to him. Like we said, he's got a lefty warming up in the bullpen who is not on our roster. We'll have to get confirmation from that when we go off the air. But Market's appeared in one game, and it was versus a Bridgeton team that lost that game 23-0. So he threw 3 innings, got 9 strikeouts, and you know that was a pretty easy day's work for Dylan Market. Now he's facing a team that's 19-6 and 9-2 in their own division. So it is kind of a culture shock when you have 2 appearances and they are against 2 very, very different teams in terms of record.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that for Market, he did well against the bottom half of this Eustace order, pitched pretty well, and now facing the top couple hitters in the lineup, starting to lose a little bit of command and control, as you saw with the back-to-back walks. And Fiola went around the bases, got to second on the error, stole third. But if you're Market and Cherry Hill West, you're a hard ground ball away. We saw Eustace turn a double play up the middle. They could do the same thing and get out of the inning unscathed.
And with that as well, you also have to remember that he had a very clean second inning. Fly out, pop out, and a ground out separated by an Iannone base hit. So it's not going to be easy for Dylan Market. Baker pump faked, and the ball is called. He's up to 29 pitches in an inning and a third with 2 walks, 1 base hit, no strikeouts. Check that, 1 strikeout to Bell. Runners on the corners, 1-0. Did seem like there was a dip in velocity that time, but a fastball does catch the outside part of the plate, 1-1. Matarese was hit by a pitch right in the helmet in the first inning. He was the last batter before Sullivan was retired on a strike him out, throw him out double play. There's a strike called, 1-2. As we said, though, this game has been weirder than weird. First inning ended on a strikeout, throw out double play. Top of the second ended on an obstruction call. Bottom of the second kind of ended in its own way, but the wind could take this one down the line. Holloway going over, he slides. Did he make the catch? We were blocked on our view there. He does. And the runners hold. From what I could see, Holloway had to trail again around and kind of had to make a haphazard catch with his glove outstretched on the left side. And now Sullivan is the batter in the 5 slot.
Yeah, with the wind, Holloway out in left field couldn't take the most direct route to the ball as it swirled around in the air, and he made a catch away from his body out in left field, but shallow enough to hold the runners.
Strike called. Baker throws down to second. We're going to try a steal and score here. It's the old move. The throw down is in time, and the inning is over. Cherry Hill West snuffed that one out, and the inning is over. I think all we need is a robbed home run, and you've got inning ender bingo. We go to the 4th inning here in Pennsauken, right off of Route 70. This game could not be more odd if you put it on a platter. It's 1-0 after 3.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Sienna McCree is the batter in the top of the fourth. It is time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is one for our friends up in North Jersey. Today's question is, what was the last year that the New York Yankees finished a season with a losing record? Was it A, 1991, B, 1995, C, 2007, or D, 1986? The answer will be revealed in the bottom half of the fourth inning. 0-1 is outside to McCree. 3, 4, and 5 meet at the order for West in the top of the fourth. McCree, Holloway, and Bechtel. Cherry Hill West with 2 base hits, one from Holloway, one from Baker. Passalacqua with 2 walks. No strikeouts on his card today. The count's 1 and 2 as that one whistles into the parking lot down the third base line.
And Cherry Hill West is just a couple of swings away from getting right back into this game. They've gotten good enough pitching and defense. Only 1 run back in the first. It's anybody's ball game.
And that one's in the dirt to McCree. He grounded out 3 unassisted to end the third. By the way, saying hello to our good friend Colin Morris, who's tuning in today from Highland, good friend of ours and Jake's. Can't wait to have him back for the Summer League games. We were talking earlier again about, wanted to wrap up the one point about the Olympic Conference downsizing. I mean, eliminating a couple teams is one thing. They eliminated an entire division because what there was is that there was 5 in the American and the Patriot and then 6 in the Olympic National. As that is going to be inside. McCree gets a free pass. It's the 3rd walk by Passalacqua, and now Holloway is the batter. But the 3 changes were, first of all, the 3 teams that did not stay and required a division to be cut were all in the National. There were only, well, first of all, out of the National, Bishop Eustace, PVI, and Camden Catholic all stayed. Camden Tech became independent. Camden didn't field a team, and Penn Tech moved to the BCSL, where they currently play and where they play for most other sports. That one's a strike called 0-1. But then now looking at the 2025 standings, the changes were made so that Shawnee moved from the Patriot to the American, and now they have 6 in the American and 7 in the National. Camden Eastside also fielded a team this year. However, they were also independent and did not play a full varsity schedule. So the Olympic right now only has 13 teams playing baseball, one of the smaller conferences. And the second smallest out of the South Jersey 5 outside of the Colonial. That one is fouled straight back. Almost joined the colony of baseball stuck in the fence up here. If we can get a good view of that, really shows just all of those are a couple of baseballs that have met their end and will be up there for the foreseeable future. May they rest in peace. It's 0-2. Holloway singled in the top of the second inning. Senior takes outside. It's 1-0. Or rather 1-2, check that. 318 hitter this year. He's got 2 home runs. Hit 1 versus Eastern and another on the 19th last Monday versus Morristown. 21 for 66, 19 RBI, and a .530 slugger. Check swing says yes. It's Passalacqua's first strikeout of the game. And now Bechtel, the shortstop, will bat with 1 away in the top of the fourth.
That's a really good pitch there for Passalacqua. Right around the knees, gets a check swing, and the home plate umpire says that the batter went around for the first strikeout of the day for the right-hander.
That was a bit of a close call, though. I'm not saying I exactly disagree with it, but I'm a little bit surprised that he made that call on his own instead of asking for an appeal. Of course, that is the umpire's discretion.
And it looked like it might have caught the zone regardless.
Yeah, it may have been a null factor either way. It could have been he might not have needed one because it didn't matter whether he swung or not. It was a strike. Passalacqua at 58 pitches. Very grateful for the stadiums that we go to that have the pitch counters because I have a pitch counter, but my hands are tied right now. I've got the scorebook in my hand. I've got a headset on my head. I'm running on about 5.5 hours of sleep and 2 bottles of vitamin water energy. And I've got the stats up on my phone. I don't have time to hold a pitch counter in my right hand. That's a swing and a miss. We've got back-to-back Ks. Bordentown's one of those places, too. Bordentown, Audubon, Eustace, a couple others have pitch counters. Timber Creek has one. Gloucester Catholic has one, but we set up in the outfield at GC that it doesn't have a, we don't have a clear sight line because the scoreboard at GC is kind of tucked in. That's a base hit back up the middle for Sanchez. He was denied in the second inning with a swirling pop-up to Bell. And after back-to-back strikeouts, Casano now has a chance to have an unobstructed at-bat in the fourth. 2 runners on for West, tying run in scoring position.
Quality swing there for Luis Sanchez to extend the inning, a base hit that sneaks right through the middle of the infield, and now 2 runners on with 2 out for Casano, whose last at-bat ended with that obstruction call on the stolen base to third, looking to come up big here for Cherry Hill West.
Casano, the right fielder. First pitch from Pasalacqua is a swing and a miss. A little bit early on that time. Looked like maybe a slider or a cutter that had a little bit of dip on it.
Yeah, definitely had some bite at the bottom of the zone there. Caught Casano out in front of that pitch. Looked like he was thinking fastball as Pasalacqua steps off, but looked like he was thinking about the fastball coming in, got a slider around the knees, and jumped the gun just a bit early for strike number 1.
Pasalacqua looks back and returns to his catcher, the 0-1. Another slider catches his own 0-2. Will be a big missed opportunity for West if they don't score here. I mean, listen, this is a situation where if you don't get anything going here, you only have 9 outs remaining. This isn't college baseball. You only got 7 innings, 21 outs to go, and they've already used up a lot of them. Here's the 0-2. Outside. Honestly, a good pick there by Yates because he saw that all the way through. It popped out of his glove, but I think there's some catchers who just missed that, and that would have been a wild pitch, but it landed right in front of him. He had the pick, but just popped out of the glove. No harm, no foul either way. Could have been a lot worse, though, and it's 1-2. 64 pitches for Pasalacqua. This will be number 65 for the Delaware commit as he's got 2 on. Tying run on second, and the 1-2 is at the knees, 2-2.
Well, he's gone down low with the fastball now on back-to-back pitches. Yates had to block up the first one to keep it in front, and that one just a little too low in the zone. Couldn't ring it up for his third punch-out of the inning, and instead has to work back in this at-bat.
And would be his third of the game as well. A walk and a single have been Pasalacqua's damage in the fourth. As the 2-2, same spot outside, 3-2. I mean, this game is not getting any easier for the boys in blue because I mean, pretty much every pitcher is just dotting the corner every time. I know if I was an umpire in this game, I would be having a migraine at this point because, I mean, they are throwing so well. Both pitchers are dotting the corners. Both pitchers are doing exceptionally well. Hence why 2 teams that have had really good offensive numbers this year are at a 1-0 stalemate in the fourth. Count is 3-2. Pasalacqua, after stepping off, returns to his opponent in the right fielder Casano. Full count. That one is strike 3 on the outside corner, side retired, and the inning is over. One half applauds, the other half boos, and the inning is over. A divided crowd nonetheless. McMaster with a bit of a sarcastic smile, and the inning is over. Pasalacqua strikes out 3, and going to the bottom of the fourth, it is a 1-0 Bishop Eustace lead. Bottom of the fourth inning. First pitch from Market. As a strike called 0-1. Casano struck out looking to end the inning. 6, 7, and 8 for Eustace. And the 1-1 is found straight back. It's 1-2. Rosenberg, Yates, and Iannone. Market had some trouble in the bottom of the third inning. Had 2 walks, but got out of it with a steal and score out as West snuffed out Eustace's attempt at the trick play, one that we see all too often at the high school level. Fouled back again, 1-2. Rosenberg grounded out softly to second in his first at-bat. Swing and a miss. And Brady Market picks up a strikeout. Check that, now the batter is Rosenberg. I figured out what it was, so I apologize. With the out that was recorded to end the third, that meant a partial at-bat, meaning that Sullivan got to bat again. Therefore, so he gets out that time. Now it's Sullivan, Rosenberg, and Yates. Missed in that time, 1-0. Strike called, 1-1. Rosenberg, .234 hitter this year, a career .250 batter. 15 for 64, 8 RBIs, and 3 extra base hits, including 2 career home runs. 1 this year, 1 last year. Fouls it off his foot. Can't feel too good on that one, and it's 0-2. Yeah, Market had a bit of a rocky third inning, but again, 2 walks to Fiola and McLaughlin, but then a fly out to left, a bit of a convoluted one for Josue Holloway. Comes back in it here, and the 1-2 with, oh, that one hit him in the hand. McMaster's going to come out here. So they're going to talk things over. I think McMaster is asking whether or not he leaned into it, or maybe asking for another look at it. So the call will stand. Rosenberg hit by the pitch. Now the catcher Yates will be the batter. Strike called, 0-1. Yates flew out to right his first time. And that one misses that time. This will be pitch number 45 for Market. Again, he threw 50 pitches versus Bridgeton earlier in the month. Had 9 strikeouts as the 2-0. That's into dirt. Baker again with a good pick. And now Yates, again the catcher, he'll be followed by Iannone, the right fielder, in the 8th spot. 2 balls, 1 strike. That one's going to skip away. Baker picks it up on the rebound, bobbled it with his bare hand. Valiant effort nonetheless, but the count is now going to be 3-1, with Rosenberg advancing in the scoring position here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Sullivan, who again restarted his at-bat after the steal and score attempt That is also common at the high school level. Looking to avoid his third walk of the day. He's already given up 2 hit by pitches. Gets under it, chops it out to short. Throw to first. Beautiful play by the shortstop, Andrew Bechtel. And there's 2 away. That will bring up Franco Iannone now. And that was a 6-3 ground out. Moves the runner to third.
That was a really tough play by the shortstop. A slow rolling ground ball. He has to charge it, makes a play and a throw on the run to retire the runner in Yates over at first base, and a much needed second out of the inning. But the second run of the game just stands 90 feet away now for Bishop Eustace.
While we have the time with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th, let's take a look at DWB trivia time. First pitch, Iannone may disallow us from doing so. He does foul it deep. Oh my goodness. That ball went a long way. Today's question is, when was the last year that the New York Yankees finished with a losing season? And how so kind of Dan McMaster to give us a mound visit so that we can complete this question. When was the last time that the New York Yankees had a losing season? The options are 1991, 1995, 2007, or 1986. Jake Clark, our producer and color commentator for the day, you got a guess?
Not the best with Yankees trivia, but I'm going to take a shot in the dark here.
You might have to ask some of your North Jersey rowing
friends. I might have to, but I'm going to take – most of them are Mets guys, but I'm going to have to take a shot in the dark and go 1991 just has a ring to it.
Bang. 76 and 86 in 1991. It's been 33 years since the Yankees had a losing season. 1995, they actually made the World Series and lost to Atlanta. I believe they had some really bad years in the late 80s, and some of our older baseball fans or maybe older baseball nerds might remember Brian Taylor, the left-hander who was the first overall draft pick in 1991. That was maybe their worst season in franchise history. Had some run-ins with the law and never made it to the major leagues. He is just one of 9 first overall draft picks of all time, before the ones that are currently in the minor leagues, to never make the big leagues. But, yeah, the Yankees had some bad years. The count is 0-1 here. Market back going, and it's outside 1-1. I was having a discussion the other day with a family member of mine who's a big Yankee fan, and they were talking about last night when they lost to the Colorado Rockies, the team that is currently 9-42 as he went around at 1-2. And I said, if you were a Phillies fan, you remember 2015 through 2017 and how bad that was. Back when one of the best players on the team at that time was Jared Eichhoff. It's outside 2-2. Just missed there on Market's 50th pitch, but I just laugh sometimes because the Yankees fans, they act like they've got it the worst when they have literally had 33 straight years, including the COVID year, of winning seasons. Good frame by Baker, didn't go, and 3-2, but Iannone is the batter. He's seen some really tough ones. He had a base hit in the second. He's 1 for 1 today. Market looking to get the inning over with. That one is outside, and definitely some close pitches in that at-bat. Iannone takes advantage of them, and he's got a free pass. So here is Rogers now. Oh, wait a second. He's going to go to second base. What's going on here? The ball was still live. They're going to try to steal and score after a walk. Now they're going to throw to third. He is safe. Oh, now McMaster's coming out right away. Yeah, go ahead. Well, McMaster's coming out and arguing. This game could get out of hand pretty quickly here. They're gonna talk this thing over. It looked like Eustace's runner came off the bag. They call him out. Wonder if Tropiano's gonna try to argue this. The inning is over. We were caught off guard because the steal and score attempt happened directly after a walk. Iannone walked, and then as everybody was preparing for Rogers to come up, even I said, now it'll be Rogers. As he's getting ready to step up, Iannone engages the play by trying to go down to second base and doing the exact same thing, but instead of off of a pitch, he does it off of a walk when the ball was still live. And McMaster came out immediately and argued, and with a case that fair, the umpires met. They had different opinions, and the final one came through that the runner was out. I can't say I've ever seen a play like that before, but in baseball, you see something new every day. We're through 4. It's 1-0 Bishop Eustace. We'll be right back. Look out below. We start the 5th with a hair raiser by Baker. 8-9-1 for the Lions in the top of the 5th. What a weird game. For a Saturday afternoon game that has no playoff implications whatsoever, the division is already locked up for Bishop Eustace and the Olympic National. Cherry Hill West and Bishop Eustace both have their playoff seedings. Eustace in the 2 slot, South Jersey non-public B. They don't know who they'll be playing yet. They have to wait for the play-in round to be done, but GC and Eustace both picked up first-round buys. But either way, what a weird game. Every time an inning has ended, it has just been up the Price is Right yodeler ladder of crazy ways for an inning to end. And that includes the last inning that ended on a steal and score attempt on a walk, which I've seen a million steal and scores through my high school baseball coverage. I have seen so many of them. Never have I seen a runner just literally never stop past first base to try to initiate a steal and score.
Well, and it was a smart play, as now there's going to be a mound visit
With Tropiano, yeah.
but a smart play because everybody had their back turned and was awaiting for the next batter, and the runner just took right off for second base, and then they got him up in a rundown, and the throw came back to third, and he was originally called safe, but looked like he never even made it back to the bag. He crawled and just missed off to the left side of the third base bag and was eventually called out.
Bag, yeah.
He made an attempt to get back, but just completely missed, I think, and never made it back, and the umpires revisited and made the right call. But now a leadoff walk, and Cherry Hill West is back in business, trying to pick up a big win heading into the playoffs against Ocean City for some momentum. And that's a game that they'll host and could be a toss-up as the typical 8-9 seed games normally go.
Well, Passalacqua, after giving up a free pass to Baker, that is his 4th of the day. They're going to backpick, throw to first, not in time. But, I mean, listen, again, a game that this is going to be our last regular season game of the season. We've got, first round of the playoffs on Tuesday. We've got, first of all, just announced we have picked up our first non-public playoff game on Wednesday. St. John Vianney visits PVI at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, May 27th. So Memorial Day Monday, first round of the playoffs Tuesday, and then St. John Vianney PVI on Wednesday. Of course, we don't know what our second round or semifinals are going to be. The only thing we know is that we will not be doing any public semifinals as we have a prior conflict that day. Should be noted, May 31st, you can tune in for our debut with the Atlantic City FC in their first season in the league for clubs. they take on First State FC at Stockton University at 3 p.m. on Saturday, May 31st. You can follow them on all of their social media platforms at Atlantic City FC, as they picked up a big 7-1 win over Braveheart SC of Long Island back last week. They have their home opener at 3 o'clock on May 31st, and will be joining Atlantic City for 2 more home games on July 5th versus Kensington and July 12th in another matchup versus First State FC based out of Wilmington, Delaware. Atlantic City FC is a member of the League for Clubs, which is a minor league soccer organization affiliated in the promotion and relegation system of professional soccer in the U.S. Here's the 2-2. That one is strike 3 on the beautiful curveball from Passalacqua. He struck out 4. After failing to ring up anybody in the first 3 innings, he has certainly brought his totals back to normal as we go back to the top of the card for Aiden Ryder. 0 for 1, pop out the third, and a walk in his 2 plate appearances today. And
you have to imagine for Passalacqua, gotten a little bit more comfortable as the game has gone on.
Oh, hold on here. Line drive, center field, diving in. He says no. The ball came out from Matarace. He did not make the catch. It's a base hit for Ryder. Matarace came in for the dive, a great effort. But that now puts 2 runners on in the top of the 5th inning with West down to their final 8 outs. They now look to get some momentum here with Grant Fournier, another blue hen versus blue hen matchup here for the 3rd time today. And Passalacqua's gotten the better of him twice, a fly out to straightaway center, and then a 6-4-3 double play. Controversial or not, that's how it happened. And he's 0 for 2. First pitch to Fournier. Out of the back of the box, he could do it again. 5-3, he did it again! Eustace turns a double play with Passalacqua's future teammate at Delaware in Grant Fournier. However, for today, they remain opponents as the inning is over for the 3rd time today. Cherry Hill West runs themselves into trouble in the 5th. And going to the bottom half, Cherry Hill West running out of opportunities, but all they need is 1 run to get back into this game. It's been a slippery slope indeed. 1-0.
Literally, they've been here twice, and they're about to score, or on the doorstep of scoring 50 for the 2nd game in a row. Xavier Terry Brown. He is still on his feet. He's being shoved forward into the end zone. But who's got the ball? Look at Jason Solomon. The ball magically appeared in Woodbury's hands, and now they're back at the 50. This one's going back. This one's going to go to the distance. I don't see any flags. Did that just go for 100 yards? I think it did. I do not see any flags as Woodbury. Oh my goodness, Jason Solomon, have a day. He is the first man not named Taylor to score. Wow, that was good.
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
All right, go ahead. Bottom of the 5th inning. This broadcast is brought to you by the Rowan College of South Jersey Roadrunners and the athletic department at RCSJ Gloucester. Winners in the classroom and winners in the field. They're currently participating in the national championships of the NJSIAA for baseball and softball in upstate New York. Baseball is playing Surrey Community College, the 7 seed out of North Carolina. They're playing them in Auburn, New York. Meanwhile, the softball team is the 3 seed in Syracuse. They play actually at 12:45 today. Either way, though, if you'd like to become a prospective athlete of the Roadrunners, you can visit their website at rcroadrunners.com and fill out their prospective athlete form. And also, you can follow them on social media at rcroadrunners.com. Also, one more thing. If you're a small business owner, or if somebody you know is a small business owner and would become or interested in becoming an advertiser with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, you can send us an email with an advertising inquiry at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We'll send you a flyer with information on how to get involved. All the commercials you see today are filmed and edited by our wonderful crew. And all of the funds go towards either equipment expenses, travel costs, as we have plenty of them, and also my college fund. I'm a freshman at RCSJ Gloucester, and Jake, our color commentator, same year as I, from Rowan as well, the main campus in Glassboro. All here to develop the future careers of the future voices of South Jersey baseball and beyond. Market picks up a strikeout. K's up Rogers that time, and we go back to the top of the order for Dante Bell. Market's really been impressive here.
Yeah, he's done an excellent job of pitching deep into this game after the starter only went 1 inning, and that wasn't necessarily because he pitched poorly. Pierce Gonzalez only gave up the 1 run of the ball game, but Market so far with a clean sheet.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's been some tough situations. He gave up those 2 walks in the third, gave up a hit by pitch and a walk in the fourth. But he's only allowed 1 hit, a second-inning single to Iannone. And this game will be 0-0 if not for that RBI double by McLaughlin in the first inning off of IPG. So there's a lot to be said about how Bishop Eustace has been approaching this game. Dylan Market has made 1 appearance, and he threw 50 pitches versus a Bridgeton team that Cherry Hill West beat by 23 runs. As I said before, it is a major shift going from a team like that to a team like this. Nothing against Bridgeton personally, but Bishop Eustace being your second matchup is kind of crazy. Kind of like when Ryan Weathers made his debut in the 2020 NLDS, made his major league debut in the playoffs. Like, there's just a lot of different attributes associated with that. As there's a strike called on the 3-0 to Bell. It is 3-1, but Market, you know, we were told going into this game that McMaster was going to go with a conservative lineup, and he was going to go with their secondary guys, but that does not appear to be the case. Here's the 3-1. There's a strike called. So I was before I got both lineups, you know, we show up at around 10 o'clock this morning. Before I get my lineups, I'm thinking that 2 of these teams are going to run on a completely different game plan. But right now, they're all coming to a head pretty well. Here's the 3-2. That is inside for ball 4. Bell reaches base for the second time today. And Fayolas the batter.
And that one definitely ran inside, but when we're talking about Market and what he's done well here today, I think the big thing is he's been able to locate multiple pitches for strikes in this one. The fastball has come across. He's got a nice curveball, and he's been able to work that 1-2 punch well today.
He's got 4 walks now. He has struck out 3 and has only allowed 1 hit, the aforementioned base hit by Iannone in the second. Here's the 1-0. Big lead off of first. This one's trailed down the right field line. Might hit the left fielder in the JV game. But it is 1-1.
And there's a lot of interesting things. Obviously, we talked about it a couple times throughout the broadcast with the JV field being quite literally right next and almost on top of the varsity field with foul balls that go in and out of play. But the one thing, Dan, that we had talked about pregame is, as I played on this field one time for a scrimmage my sophomore year, and the only thing that I could think about was watching the cars on Route 70 go back and forth through the fence.
Yeah, you know what? We talked about that, and that is a good point. There really isn't much of a batter's eye here. There's a little bit of a dip in left center field, but if you go past where that is, in dead center field where that bush is, that's really the only thing. You can see the cars coming by on Route 70, and that fence is not entirely opaque, and there isn't much of a presence of a real batter's eye. That one misses high. It's 3-2, but it's going to be interesting to see how that works because obviously, Jake, you were talking about it and how it affected you. You didn't really pick up on the baseball very well from what you told me.
Well, I didn't, and it didn't help that I had to go against a lot of guys that are now playing baseball at the next level, some of which are playing at the Division I level, but still it is a bit of something that's unique.
That ball's hit down the right field line again, and it's fouled. Did you face Landon Mack in that scrimmage?
I did. I did face Landon Mack. Before I even really thought Landon Mack was a pitcher, I knew him more as an infielder.
Right, because he would also play first base for Eustace.
I knew him as more of an infielder and a hitter, and I didn't think he was that much of a pitcher, but obviously playing at Rutgers and pitching for the Scarlet Knights has a lot of velocity on the fastball, and he did just a couple years ago when I had to face him here. And it didn't count for anything. It was just a scrimmage, but
3-2, got a couple of foul balls. This time taps it to Brown. It's a 4-3 ground out with a dark cloud overhead. It is now 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. As we said, our first round playoff game will be Tuesday. There are 7 games you can vote for. The reason why I say 7, again, Penn Tech and Sterling was in bracket A. Bracket B. They decided to be removed from consideration. So 2 of the top 4 from both brackets will go into a final 4 on Sunday. We'll know by the end of the day Sunday, with the polls closing at 3 o'clock today, where we'll know by the end of the day on Sunday where we're going to be. Like we said, Washington Township Cherokee currently leads bracket A. Meanwhile, leading bracket B is Toms River North and Kingsway. Like we said, still very close in Cherry Hill West. They are leading by 1 vote over Gloucester and Overbrook, and again, that would be the difference between them making it to the next round in our bracket and not. That should be a good game, too, with Ocean City. I mean, they've got Evan Taylor, the commit to Alabama. He has been monstrous this year for Ocean City, really a gem in the Cape Atlantic League, and I love covering the Cal teams, too. It's a different style of baseball down there. This one popped up. This could end the inning. It's in the shallow right, but instead McCree comes down with it, and the inning is over. Well, Cherry Hill West needs 1 run across their next 6 outs, and this has been a doozy of a game. We are through 5, and only 1 run has crossed the plate today on a J.J. McLaughlin RBI double in the first. We'll be right back.
He's donning the number 34 and the shortstop for this one. First pitch. There's a line drive into center field. That one is going to drop it. It's going to go to the outfield wall. 1 run will score. Spence is going to make a huge arc around third. She will score to make it 3-0. And here comes the runner to score. It's an inside the park home run for Ella Hayes to make it a 4-0 game, a 3-run inside the Parker to the 2. And this is going to bring up Andrew Petrick, who has a single in this game. And here's a fly ball popped up right field side. And it's fair. It's fair. They're going to throw to second for try to get this play. The force out. They got him, but the game is tied. How about it for Woodstown? They complete the comeback to make it 8-8. So now there is 1 out after Kubat let it fall in right, and because the bases were loaded, you know what? That's a very smart play.
top of the 6th inning, it has gotten cloudy very fast here at Bishop Eustace. Cole Williams, the commit to Army West Point, is the pitcher for the Crusaders, as that one is outside to McCree. 3, 4, and 5 for West. They sent 4 men to the plate. Fournier into the inning on a double play. Here's the 1-0. That one is inside at the knees. Most of Bishop Eustace's Division I talent is in the pitching department. Talked about Eamon McDermott earlier, committed to Georgetown. The starter, Passalaqua, committed to Delaware. Cole Williams committed to Army West Point, as we mentioned before. And then, of course, Max Sullivan committed to Penn. 3-0. That's going to be a 4-pitch walk to Luciano McCree. And this could spice things up a little bit because we are going to have a runner on. It's McCree's second walk of the game. And it will now account for the tying run being on, but I mean, Cherry Hill West has just had so many opportunities. Every inning except for the first, they got a runner on. Cherry Hill West has left 8 runners on base today through the first 5 innings. They want to change that now. Here's the first pitch. Outside, Williams, 5 pitches, all balls. And it's 1-0. We mentioned earlier, Bishop Eustace has secured the number 2 seed in South Jersey non-public B. Although it looks like, I don't know if this is official, but it looks like they changed the classifications for them because NJ.com now refers to them as South Jersey Group B instead of South Jersey non-public B. Brackets became official on Friday at noon. Eustace, the 2 seed. The top 4 got a bye. Actually, no, the top 5 got a bye. I don't know how I missed that, but there's only 3 play-in games being done. Morristown Friends and Holy Cross, Wildwood Catholic and Princeton Day, and then St. Joe's Hamilton and St. Rose. So that second round game, as on Williams' 7th pitch, it'll be a strike, is first of the day. Here's the 2-1 to the Army commit. That one is missing there, 3-1. So Gloucester Catholic will play the winner of Morristown Friends and Holy Cross, 2 BCSL teams, and then a Cape Atlantic and a Shore team in St. Joe's Hamilton and St. Rose. That one's inside. Williams running into some trouble here. He's walked back-to-back. And if Cherry Hill West does not score, it will be their 9th and 10th runners left on. So Tropiano comes out. Again, the 750-win head coach with long tenures here at Eustace and at St. Augustine. One of 5 coaches in South Jersey history with over 600 wins. A lot of legendary names in that list that really don't get mentioned enough. One thing that I have to do, I have to make a trip down to the South Jersey Baseball Hall of Fame at one point. So it was opened a couple of years ago. It's at the Camden County College Satellite Campus in Cherry Hill. I think it's right off of 38. No, it's not off of 38. I think it's actually off of 70. But either way, a lot of great memorabilia in there. Stuff from state championships, stuff from Mike Trout's high school career, probably the most famous South Jersey alumnus out of Millville. Keep saying Passalaqua. Williams steps off. But either way, just still 2 great coaches here. Oh, look at this. Yeah, Cherry Hill West fooled him right there. Infield went all around the diamond, and Williams stepped off anyway. Very interesting.
And I can't imagine why. I'm not exactly sure what happened right there because the runner on second didn't even really lead off the bag. The third baseman crashed like there was a bunt, but no one squared. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there.
This time he does bunt, but he pulls back. 5 coaches with 600 wins. Tropiano up near the 770 mark now. Rich Bender, the famous coach at Delran, retired with 672 and 349 record. One's inside. Lee Ware of Woodstown. Of course, we think of the Lee Ware Field and the Lee Ware Tournament. He's a legendary name in South Jersey, 671 and 414 in his career. Rich Horan, the newest member of the club, with 600 wins acquired in 2024. And then Russ Spicer was a little bit everywhere. Whoa, that one's up and in. Both runners are going to advance. It was a good rebound. Now both runners are in scoring position. Well, now Cherry Hill West has no choice. It's a 3-0 count. 2 runners in scoring position with the shortstop Bechtel at the dish. Back-to-back walks, and Cole Williams, the Division I commit to the Army Service Academy, is going to look to avoid tying this game up. Here's a 3-0 to Bechtel. That is ball 4. That's 3 in a row. And Cherry Hill West, just like that, has gotten their groove back. A 3-0 count, and it's 3 straight walks for Bishop Eustace. And now Luis Sanchez, the designated hitter, is the batter. What a spot here.
3 straight free passes for Cherry Hill West with nobody out in this inning and only down a run. An excellent spot to be in for the Lions late in this game.
First pitch from Williams is outside. Sanchez with a bit of a smile on his face. He's 1 for 2. Bishop Eustace has walked a total of 7 batters today. Has 14 pitches for Williams, no outs. Gets a fastball down the strikes there, and it's 1-1. As we said, though, the 5th and final member of the 600 win club, Russ Spicer, he was a little bit everywhere. Cinnaminson, Haddonfield. I think he had a stop at St. Augustine as well. Very, very well traveled. That one's in the dirt, 2-1. Cherry Hill West beat Bishop Eustace in their first matchup of the season in a game very different from the one today, 10-6, with West scoring 4 runs as a go-ahead in the bottom of the 6th inning to win the game. They're now in the top of the 6th inning, trailing by 1. Strike called, 2-2. Jeff Casano, the right fielder, will be next. Casano and then Hayden Baker. Williams with maybe his best at-bat of his outing so far. McCree on third, Holloway on second, Bechtel on first. 2-2. Popped up, straight up. Infield fly is going to be called. Shortstop, can't find it. The ball will drop, but it's not going to matter as it's an infield fly. And that will be the first out of the 6th.
Well, Williams really bearing down there, struggled to find the zone. Has the velocity for sure, but couldn't paint it around the corners. This time gets a couple strikes and then a pop-up that was shot all the way up high into the sky, and the wind took it, and lucky for the infield fly.
There's a rule in Germany. So there is the baseball, you might know of the German professional football league as Bundesliga. It's called Baseball Bundesliga for baseball in Germany as the 0-1. They have a unique rule in Germany on an infield fly. If the infielder does not catch the ball, all runners advance 2 bases. Whether it's dropped, whether it's intentionally dropped, or whether it's just not caught, if an infield fly is called and a player does not make the catch, everybody moves up 2 bases. Hit out to left. No, this is popped up to first. Calling for it. The wind does not affect that play, as this is a huge, huge second out. We were talking about earlier if Cherry Hill West didn't get any runs home, that was looking like a fantasy. And now with a infield fly pop out and Casano popping out to first, Hayden Baker's now got to be the ultimatum setter. With bases loaded and 2 outs, it's a 1-0 game. And I think that if Baker doesn't get on here, you've got 9-1-2 in the top of the 7th. That journey is not going to be any easier for Cherry Hill West going forward.
Well, give
This
credit.
is a do-or-die situation right now.
Give credit to Williams. The door was wide open for Cherry Hill West, and he closed the door almost. It's still creaked open for the Lions as they still have the bases loaded.
Baker's going to try to kick the door down. Got a strike called on the inside corner, 0-1. Baker has reached base twice. He had a single in the 3rd, but was retired on a double play. And then he walked in the 5th inning. So 1 for 1, but he's reached base twice. Pitch number 23 for Williams is a swing and a miss early on the fastball. Cole Williams was down in the dumps. 3 walks. The crowd for Bishop Eustace standing. With a pop out to short on an infield fly and a pop out to first. 0-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. Maybe the biggest pitch of this game. The 0-2. Outside at the letters, 1-2 here. Eric Brown would be next. No, sorry, they're going to go with a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle. Stepping off here. That is going to be number 11, Jason Aldino, on deck as a pinch hitter for Brown. 1-2 at the letters. Good frame, 2-2.
That pitch definitely missed
That was
upstairs.
high. That was high.
Heard a couple oohs and ahs from the dugout of Bishop Eustace, but it definitely missed up and out of the zone. Close pitch and a good effort by Yates behind the plate. But now staying alive is the hitter, and the door is still open.
Just for now, 2-2. Door closed, strike 3. Cole Williams with the rebound of a lifetime. 3 walks in a row to start the inning, 2 pop-outs and a strikeout looking. West has left 11 runners on base, and this one, the cardinal sin of them all. Bases loaded, nobody out. Bishop Eustace in full gear. It's 1-0. Going to the bottom of the 6th inning as Eustace, on the heels of an incredible comeback, now look for some insurance on the offensive end. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the home of the Crusaders. There is a new pitcher. Amabile making his first appearance. So again, Jason, check that, Amabile. He is not even on the NJ.com roster. He was written down. He is the third pitcher to appear. First of all, huge props to Brady Market. Held this game to 1-0, regardless of what happened on the offensive side. Brady Market, in his first appearance versus an Olympic Conference team, picked up the slack, and this game will be 0-0, zilch to zilch, if it was not for a J.J. McLaughlin RBI double in the bottom of the first inning. That was the only run of the game. And I was thinking this game might be a little bit more high scoring, but it wasn't. Every time I think this game has a potential to break itself open or to tie itself back up, it just slams shut like a Venus flytrap. Here's the 2-0. Strike called. Amabile certainly getting his work cut out for him, facing the first man in his varsity career in being Dante Matarese. Bullet, right field base hit. Matarese, the center fielder, hits it down the line, and he wins the lefty-lefty platoon. Matarese with his first hit of the game. He had a hit by pitch and a fly out. But Cherry Hill West, 11 runners left on base. You can only think about whether if you're Dan McMaster or one of the assistants for West, you have to be thinking, what could we have done differently?
And if you lose this game, it's certainly frustrating, but...
Oh, here's a bunt. Third base side, it's a fair ball. Throw to first, not in time. Throw down to second is not in time. Runner from third almost broke. McMaster coming out of the dugout. Throw came in from third. It was wide. And now Bishop Eustace in a good position for insurance. Right off of Amabile.
And I don't think that McMaster came out of the dugout to try and argue a call, but rather to yell out his team, because I heard him say something that he said or yelled something out about 3 times that he knew the bunt was coming, and the bunt was placed perfectly down the third base line.
That was a beauty.
And then a bad and rush throw over to first. The ball skips away, and now 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. Not an ideal situation for Amabile, the left-hander, out on the mound. And Bishop Eustace looking for some insurance, especially after the scare last inning.
Well, he's going to have to face another left-hander in Rosenberg. Southpaw Amabile delivers. That one's up high. They're going to say it hit him. I think it clipped him right on the wrist, or right maybe on the knuckles. And the bases are loaded. So 3 straight runners have reached for Eustace. And in that situation where you have 2 lefties batting against a pitcher who has not competed at the varsity level this season, very interesting there. But now it's going to be Yates batting in the 7 slot behind the plate. Eustace would win their 20th game of the season if they hang on today. They went 21-7 in 2024. 21-8 in 2023, and pretty consistent, 20-8 in 2022. So for Eustace, on the cusp of their 20th win, something that's been pretty standard for the Crusaders year in and year out. The ball got away, and Eustace scores. Insurance run comes in the form of Matarese. The ball skipped away. Count is 2-1, and the score has been modified on the scoreboard for the first time in a long time. It's 2-0. Matarese comes in to score, moves everybody up, and 2 runners are back in scoring position.
And Matarese was licking his chops to come home to the plate, had his tongue out like he just ate a good meal, ate that ball up on a good read, and came across the plate to score for the 2nd run of the ball game and the first since back in the bottom of the 1st inning.
3-1 count, and a 3-1. Outside is ball 4. Bases are loaded. 4 straight batters have reached. Another pitcher is warming up in the pen. It is number 44, which is also not on our roster. No, he is. Number 44, that is Foley. Don't have a first name yet on him. So Foley up in the pen for West. So it seems like West was not running a conservative lineup in terms of their hitters, but they certainly have been in terms of their pitchers. They ran one of their top starters in Isaiah Pierce-Gonzalez. However, they ran Brady Market, who's thrown 3 innings, and then Amabile, who's in his first career varsity start.
And it almost feels like the wheels are starting to fall off now for Cherry Hill West.
They've been hanging on for so long.
And they had the perfect opportunity, bases loaded, nobody out, and Williams was able to get out of that jam with 3 consecutive outs, and he closed the door with a strikeout in the top half of the 6th, and now another run comes across the score, and getting a little bit of deja vu, bases loaded, no outs. We'll see if the Crusaders can convert again.
Well, they already got 1 run home on a wild pitch by Baker. Ground ball, first base side, skips past McCree into right field. 1 run scores. Second run gets the stop sign. It's an RBI single for Franco Iannone. It's his second hit of the day, and it is a 3-0 Bishop Eustace lead.
Slow chopper that didn't have a lot of life on it, but just got by the glove of the first baseman for Cherry Hill West, and Bishop Eustace happy to play station to station as that one just snuck into the outfield, and now they've put up 2 in the bottom of the 6th.
And it's a 9-hitter now. Rogers is, well, I'll tell you this. I think the idea for bringing in Amabile, this one's popped way up. Where's this one headed? Onto the street behind us, and it's 0-1. But I think the idea for bringing in Amabile, again, a rookie here for West, is to have that sense of a lefty-lefty platoon. Well, there's nobody out, and 5 straight batters have reached. Matarese on a single, Sullivan on an E5. That's a ground ball. Diving pick at third. Ryder is going to throw home. Everybody goes station to station, but Ryder saves a ball from hooking down the left field corner. It's going to be a 5-2 fielder's choice. Moves everybody up again, but it denies a run from scoring as Rosenberg is called out at the plate, and now Bell will be the batter. So that will be scored as a 5-2 fielder's choice, but we were just talking about now 6 batters this inning. All 6 have reached base. Matarese on a single, Sullivan an E5. Walks by Rosenberg and Yates, Iannone RBI single, and the fielder's choice still counts as a runner reaching base as the ball finds its way onto the JV field. It's 0-1 to Bell.
Well, in that play at the plate, the runner in Rosenberg kind of got caught up. It looked like a low-hanging line drive that just got scooped up at third. And then the play at the plate was an easy one because Rosenberg was so late to break on a ground ball, was put in a tough spot, looked like it could have been caught out of the air, and was trying to hold up to not get doubled off at third, but an easy out number 1.
And the 1-1 is down at the knees. Bell has reached base twice. He is 0 for 2. E3, strikeout and a walk to his record today. Off with the lefty, Amabile. Again, Foley warming up in the pen, enclosed down the right field line for Cherry Hill West. And it's 3-1. But, I mean, otherwise, this has been a very good game. It's been a pitcher's duel. Bishop Eustace now finally starting to break through in a substantial way. This would be, if they lost every game from here on out, would be the first time since 2016 that Eustace would not have a 20-plus win season. They won 20 games specifically, as that will bring home another run on a bases-loaded walk. And again, I wonder how long the leash is going to be for Dan McMaster. This is going to be the 8th batter of the inning in Fiola. And it'll be the last lefty that I'll face at least until they bat around, if they do. But this has been the marquee inning for Bishop Eustace, and they've gotten it done. They now lead 4-0 on the bases-loaded free pass. Strike called at the knees, 0-1. So David Amabile gets a strike called. It's his first varsity appearance, and you couldn't have put him in a more complex situation. Like we said, for those watching at home, this game does not affect the power points, doesn't affect the division, nor does it affect the nor does it really affect anything except for team morale. Cherry Hill West has to be here because, well, first of all, both teams have to be here because of makeup games. There was a lot of rain that came in. West will play Morristown on Wednesday, the day after their first round playoff game versus OC. Here comes the play to the plate. They get one. Throw to first. How about that? David Amabile ends the inning on amicable terms. A 1-2-3 double play ends the sixth. However, the scoreboard says otherwise. Damage done. And you think about that bases loaded situation in the top of the sixth. West has work to do. They trail 4-0 as they are down to their final 3 smackaroos of the bat here in the 7th.
BB and Copsetta trading a couple looks. They know what's going on. Full count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons in the Ralph Shaw Classic 26th annual. They are back on top for the first.
The big, beautiful billboard outside of Route 70 here in Pennsauken. It's a hustle and bustle of a Bishop Eustace campus. The Army commit Cole Williams has a little bit better odds to work with here in the top of the 7th. His team wanted insurance and they got it. They sent 8 men to the plate before a 1-2-3 double play ended the threat. As the batter swings and misses. It is a pinch hitter for Eric Brown. Jason Audino, the junior, is the hitter. It'll be 9-1-2. Audino, Ryder, and Fournier. Here's the 0-2. Curveball skips in. Would have been a bit of a better situation if they came into this inning down 1-0. You can even take some inspiration from the 6th, but now a 4-run game is just a little bit harder to navigate. Here's the 1-2. Popped up right over our heads and onto the JV field again. Man, I feel bad for the JV players. They're getting peppered with foul balls today. They're in a war zone.
And with the fields being so close together, something that the Eustace guys are probably used to.
I would imagine so. 1-2. Curveball, swing and a miss. Williams makes him waver. And Audino is down on strikes for the first out, and Audino offering some advice to Ryder. You always love to see that. Even there are less and less high school teams where I see that happen commonly. You'd be surprised, because it happens all the time in the pros. Somebody strikes out, pass on your advice, pass on what you saw to the next person. I see it so many times at the travel baseball level, and it is one of the biggest problems that I have seen with travel baseball is that everybody is so individualistic that they only want to see themselves succeed. They sure want to see their friends succeed, but they make it all about themselves to the point where you don't see a player giving advice to the man in the on-deck circle when he strikes out. You don't see the player tipping his cap when somebody makes a good catch. It has become very, very petty. It has become very... Now, this isn't representative of all organizations, but as a whole, travel baseball has turned into a very diluted product. And it's why I don't really use it for, grading or scouting how good players are. You know what I'm using? This. This game does not really matter. It matters for morale as that ball is ripped. Right field. Going back to the short porch. It's gone! Aiden Ryder will not be denied. His home run in the first went foul by a couple of feet, and he gives the Cherry Hill West Lions something to fight for in the top of the 7th. Solo shot to right, and it's 4-1. Aiden Ryder. Solo shot. You can kiss that ball goodbye.
And that ball was smoked off the bat there by Ryder. Hits it to one of the shorter parts of the yard, and the pole hitter has the advantage with the short porch in right field. But an excellent swing, and we talked about the door being closed last inning. It's now right back open off of that big swing. Still an uphill battle for the Lions, but a lot of life now in that dugout after the big swing from Ryder.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was a big hack. That was the second home run of the year. Now you got Fournier here who took a big hack on the first pitch. Just got underneath it, and it was foul, but Ryder, second hit of the day, a walk, a single, and a home run. That one skips up and in. But Fournier has not had the best of luck. He's grounded into 2 inning-ending double plays, 6-4-3 in the third, 5-3 in the 5th. And his other at-bat with a fly out to straightaway center for Mataray. So, I mean, listen, it's not going to be easy for anybody to get a good barrel for Fournier, but if there's anybody who wants it the most, Fournier probably has a little bit of vengeance from what he was unable to do in his first or in his last 2 at-bats, with both of them ending in double plays. Now he's got a 2-1 count versus the Army commit. Williams fouls it back. That one actually bounced up and almost hit the high school, Bishop Eustace Prep. Again, a battle of 2 Olympic national opponents who are division rivals for the first time in a long time. West won the first matchup between these two back on May the 5th, 10-6. And the 2-2 in the dirt hits Yates in the face mask, and it's 3-2.
Well, Yates has blocked a couple of balls like that where he charges his head out and blocks it with the mask, which is something that I don't know that I've ever seen a catcher do, but it certainly works for him. And now Fournier hasn't had a hit, hasn't been on base, but caught a lot of good swings.
Well, the 3-2 is hit down the left field line. It's hooking. It is foul. The wind got it foul. I'm almost more impressed with Ryder's home run because that was just before a big wind gust came in. It was a little bit shallow, a little bit, lulled down. And now it comes back a little bit during Fournier's at-bat. I think if the wind was dead today, that could have stayed fair down the line. Got a good barrel on it down the left side. Got good contact made, and now has to come back into it with a 3-2 count.
And even the double plays, he's gotten good swings on those at-bats too.
3-2. The other way again, fly ball. Fournier slams the bat, it's popped up. Mataray calls off his shortstop companion, and there's 2 away. Now bringing up the first baseman, Luciano McCree. So Ryder's home run could be a footnote in today's game, or it could be a turning point, depending on how this at-bat goes. I think Eustace hopes that it's just a hiccup in the wind, but Fournier, for the second out of the 7th, ends his day, assuming that this game doesn't advance, to go 0 for 4. McCree 0 for 1. He's got 2 walks and a 3 unassisted ground out, and the only ball he's put in play to end the first inning, the 1-0. It's a strike called 1-1. Again, our next broadcast will be Tuesday. We hope everybody enjoys the Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to be making my world-famous Cubano burgers on Monday to celebrate the holiday, but Williams got the 1-1 here. Again, we'll be at our wherever the fans decide that we go on Tuesday. Wednesday will be St. John Vianney versus PVI. Thursday and Friday to be determined, depending on how the play-in games go Wednesday for the non-publics. But this game has been an interesting one. It's 4-1 in the top of the 7th. Here's the 2-1. Strike called 2-2. J.J. McLaughlin got an RBI double in the bottom of the first, and we were ho-hum from there. West left 11 runners on in this game, and Eustace got a much-needed 3 spot in the 6th for insurance. The 2-2. Breaking ball doesn't go, and it's 3-2. West got a run back in the top of the 7th on a home run by Aiden Ryder out to right field. And a man who knows something about home runs, Holloway, is on deck in the on-deck circle. He's got a base hit and a walk today. And a walk-heavy game for the Crusaders. 3-2 is outside, and the walks continue. And the game continues. Don't forget to stay tuned for the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting post-game show presented by DAWG Pro Wrestling. This broadcast is brought to you by DAWG Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and non-stop entertainment throughout the Garden State. You can visit online for more information on their future and past events and ticketing by visiting DAWGProWrestling.com. That one's outside. McCree walking for the 3rd time today. Holloway already has a walk. But if you remember Cole Williams, he walked 3 batters in the top of the 6th inning and then got 3 straight clutch outs to end the threat. Big swing and a miss on a fastball that ran in, and it's 1-1.
Well, this is what you like to see, power versus power. A lot of velocity from the pitcher in the mound and a lot of power in the bat of Holloway.
And the 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Eustace has allowed a lot of free passes, giving them out like they're candy on Halloween. 8 walks. West has had their fair share, but the 4-1 difference in the scoreboard was where the tables have tipped. 1-2 for Williams. He got him! Ball game! And for the 8th season in a row, Bishop Eustace has clinched their 20th win of the season. They strike out Josue Holloway looking, and despite a 7th inning long ball by Aiden Ryder that got the gray and purple fired up in a Saturday game that didn't have much implication, certainly brought the fireworks. What an odd game. Several times during this game I was wondering if the top was going to blow off one of these coaches for a variety of different reasons. One of them being that Jeff Casano obstruction call in the 2nd, handful of double plays that were close calls, handful of strikes that were close calls, and a handful of strikes that weren't all that close. But what an odd game. Time of game in this one, 2 hours and 16 minutes. Not all that bad, but Bishop Eustace getting those 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th as a part of an 8-batter effort is what they needed to win the game, as Sam Tropiano and his crew, again for the 8th year in a row, win their 20th game of the season, going into their first-round playoff game versus either St. Joe's Hamilton or St. Rose on Friday. So it'll be interesting. Cherry Hill West has a long road ahead. They play Ocean City on Tuesday in the first round of South Jersey Group 3, and then they have to play 2 more conference games thanks to rainouts, Morristown on Wednesday and Cherokee on Friday. We're going to try to get one of the Bishop Eustace gentlemen for an interview, and we'll be back in just a moment as the Crusaders down the Lions 4-1 on this Saturday afternoon. Here with our player of the game here at Bishop Eustace, just adjusting things a little bit here. We've got Franco Iannone, went 2 for 2 in the ball game, and honestly, a really good effort out there. You know, this was a game that revolved around pitching. Eustace only had 3 hits on the day. You had 2 of them. First of all, and you had the last RBI of the game, made it a 4-0 game, and that's what ended things here this afternoon. How'd you feel out there today?
You know, the team had a good win. You know, our guys were throwing well. Dan, great job. Cole, great job coming in, shutting the door. I mean, at the plate, we're a good team. We know what we're worth, and just looking forward to what we got here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that 6th inning really changed everything. It was a 1-0 game. McLaughlin had an RBI double to lead off versus Isaiah Pierce-Gonzalez, and then there was nothing until the 6th. You guys got 8 batters, 3 runs came in. How'd you feel going into that 6th inning? You know, you had the opportunity to extend the lead, had an RBI single there off of the new left-hander for Cherry Hill West. You know, what was your mindset going into that at-bat? You had the bases loaded, had a big opportunity to extend the lead. What were you thinking out there?
I mean, us as a team, we've been really coming late in the games. We've been attacking late, you know, just getting up there, seeing the first pitch. If it's there, just crush it, and that was my plan.
Well, and you absolutely did. Got it through the right side, and then Bell got the last run on a bases-loaded walk. But this was a game that was very different from when the first time you played Cherry Hill West. It was 10-6 West on May 5th, and 10-6, not 4-1. You guys between both teams, there were only 8 combined hits today. The effort of Williams and Pasalacqua really made a difference. And for you, my one defensive question is that this is always an interesting place to play in, just because it's 310 to right field. The wind is blowing straight in. Did you feel that you had to adjust a little bit today?
I mean, yeah. I mean, our coach Johnny does a good job with positioning and coaching us the way we need to be. I mean, knowing our field with the short right field, we got to be able to navigate out there pretty well. So with the wind blowing in, anything over our head we know is pretty much gone. So just playing the field, and that's what we're going to do.
And one more question for you, Franco. You know, this is a big tune-up for you guys. It's the 8th year in a row that Bishop Eustace has won 20-plus games in a season. Last time they didn't do that was 2016. A big thing for these guys going forward, first of all, Cherry Hill West has to play 2 more conference games because of the rainouts. For this, you guys don't play until Friday. You guys are either going to play St. Joe's Hamilton or St. Rose. Back-to-back years as the 2 seed in South Jersey Non-Public B. How do you and your team feel going into the playoffs?
I mean, we feel really strong. We have a good group of guys, really good group of guys, and our guys on the mound are going to compete day in and day out. And whoever comes, they just better be ready for us.
Well, I appreciate it, Franco. Thank you very much. We're going to close with our little tradition on DWB. Going to have you sign the bottom of the scorecard. Make it nice and big anywhere on the bottom there. As your player of the game, presented by DAWG Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization, Dog Pro Wrestling. It's our dog of the game, Franco Iannone. 2 for 2 with an RBI in the bottom of the 6th inning, and he gets the job done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that'll be all for us tonight here on DWB, as we are going to go to enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. Hope everybody else does as well. But our next broadcast will be the fan vote. We don't know where we're going yet. And no, I don't know why there's a box around my face either. We're going to find out. I'm going to go into the camera settings and find out how I can disable that. But either way, though, our entire crew is going to be enjoying the Memorial Day weekend, and we hope that you do as well. Our next broadcast again will be Tuesday in the fan vote game. And then we've got St. John Vianney versus PVI on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane and Carson Rosso, my producer and color commentator, Jake Clark, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you after the hot dogs and burgers have been grilled on May 27th, wherever we may be. Have a good one, folks.